So at that point, were you already, or what you call the place, the CIA, the school, the blind school here?
Oh, yes, of
so
course.
were you able to do their courses, like to learn the Braille and stuff like
Well,
that?
I go back to this rehabilitation. Remember I was going to tell you about it?
Okay.
This is where the rehabilitation comes. Now I like it. Before I did not.
Okay.
Went into the CNIB. Everybody was telling me, "Oh, we are
Okay.
so sorry. We understood that your surgery did not go well." I said, no, but by God's grace, I'm sure things will work out.
True.
I will have a miracle or something. The lady said, "Well, yes, we're looking for the miracle, but come. Let me come show you the kitchen." And I went into the kitchen. I told them, I said, "I'm all yours. Tell me what you want me to do today. Give me everything. I'm ready." They said, "Oh, yeah, you're ready. But before you were not. I sense that you are not ready. You were not ready." This lady that taught me, what was her name? I forgot her name.
Some names you won't be able to
Yes,
remember.
but my brain teacher. Yeah. You know, that lady is so smart. She said she can sense things. She can sense people walking. She can hear even when she's not paying attention. It was so scary when she said that to me. She said, "So I knew you were not ready. I can tell when you came earlier." She said, "Well, when was that? Was it a month ago or 2 months ago?" She was trying to tease me or something. Like, "Oh, yeah, 2 months ago. That was in August. This is October, right?" She said, "Yeah. So I know you're all ready." And then she gave me a tap on my back. So she said, "Come. Now I'm putting you to work." She said, "Kitchen." We start with the kitchen. She said, "So you are a cook. You are, well, I know your background and everything. The machine is here. I used to sew and all that, right? You are good with your hands?" I said, "Yes." So she said, "See if you can touch things and tell me what you feel and all that." You know, my sense of touch wasn't developed, so I was tumbling around. I was making a lot of mistakes, right? Yes. And then she said, "So now, you know what you need?" I said, "No, the white skin." And then she ran. That lady was blind, but she can move around.
Well, she was a blind person
Oh, yes.
too.
She's been working in CNIB for what? 30, 40 years? Yeah.
Oh,
She was over, 70, but she was so agile.
very active.
Very active. Yeah, she ran and she got me the cane. She said, "Okay, now, grab onto this." She showed me how to fold the cane. And then she said, "So this is point 1. I just wanted to see how you can touch or how you can relate to things around you." I was stumbling around. It was so bad. I was even laughing at myself, right? She said, "I like that. I like that. You're laughing at yourself. That's a good sign. You're not bitter. You're not mad. You're not sad." I'm like, you know, I've gone past that. Now it's reality. Now it's time to work. I need to do things. She said, "I know that. So first of all, this cane you are having in your hands can tap around." She said, "Tap, tap." I started tapping the cane. She showed me how to put my thumb on there's a little handle at the top. And then she showed me how to maneuver around the object. She said, "That's the stove and we hit it." She said, "Go around the stove."
That's in the
I
kitchen.
said, "That's the counter." Yes, we were in the kitchen. Yes. And then we walked out of the kitchen and then she showed me the room where we'll be sitting down to do our lessons. She said, "Now there's a round table here and there are 3 chairs. Sometimes I'll have another student here." And then we walked. She held on to my hand and then she told me, "While I'm holding you on this side, on the left side, use your cane on the right side and tap." So I kept tapping, and we got to a door. She said, "Now, what do you notice?" I tapped again, like, "Nothing." By then I was green, right? "Nothing." She said, "Okay, that's a door." She said, "Big sweeps." She said, "Drag, leave the cane, not the short taps like I showed you. Drag it." I dragged it and dragged it. She said, "Now, big sweeps." And then when I swept on the left, and I swept, I taught the lintel, right? She said, "That's the door." She said, "So let's go through." She said, "I'm not good at this, but there's a mobility instructor that will come in very soon." So we went in, she showed me the computers, the chairs that we'll be sitting on. She showed me the typewriter where we start to learn keyboarding. And then she called the lady. Mary Louise, are you ready for us? She said, oh, I am. She was just standing. I said, I've been observing you too. So she came in. She said, I'm Mary Louise Chisholm. I'll be your mobility instructor. She said, I love your hair. They did my hair so nice. The braids that I had on, right? I said, oh, my cousins did my hair for me. She said, oh, it's so nice. It's so lovely. That was the best woman there. That lady, she was so good. And then she said, I will be doing your mobility instruction in the mornings, if that's okay with you, because I have classes.
Oh, okay, let me come in. So in that situation, that now that we are seeing now here, that now you've been made to stay?
No.
Were you able to stay at that time? Because
in Canada?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, not yet.
Oh, not yet?
Not yet. Mohammed was still looking, right?
Okay.
We are still looking. But so far, I have asked immigration to give me more time.
Well, so they extended your time, so to speak.
Because of my ward, the ward I don't like, rehabilitation.
Yeah, because at the time there was this situation back home. Yes. Now I get your point.
I had to do rehabilitation because they told in the letter that they wrote to immigration, they said she has to do mobility because she lost her sight. So I was given an extension, right?
Okay.
So I was supposed to leave in December of that year. Okay, so going back. So Mary Louise told me I'll be doing my classes in the morning. She said, is that okay? I said, oh, yes. I would like mornings. Because she said, are you a morning person? I said, oh, yes, I am. She said, well, that's good. She said, because there are some people who are so grumpy in the mornings. She's so, she was so nice that she made me laugh. She said, I'm grumpy. She goes like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I said, no, I'm fine. So mornings, mobility, and then come in for Braille after midday. And then, yes, I started doing Braille. I took 6 months to do Braille. Yes. And then after that, we started keyboarding skills for me to work on the computers, right? And then I was doing this, and then they had this big function at CNIB. They asked me if I would like to volunteer. I said, well, I think I would like to. So they started teasing me, oh, your background in teaching and all that, we know you want to put your skills
that you were a teacher
into good use. Yes, they had all my files, right? Yeah, my age, everything. They, oh, you were a teacher before. Each of the instructors have everything about me, right? They have to read and know about you, and they have to actually have a background because they want to know your mindsets, if you are ready.
You're right.
And there are things that will be advantageous for you and things that they will bring in and things that they will not bring in. Mobility was not my strong point.
Okay.
No. I struggled a lot with mobility. I used to go to work when I started work, and I used to take the pedway. That one was easy. The bus just comes there, yes.
Wow.
My daughter was so amazed when she saw me walking by myself, going home after work.
Even Mrs. Jago sitting there?
Yes.
Wow.
She said, wow, it was easy. That was the easy one, but I wasn't a good mobility person. No. I tried for the guide dog. I did not get it. So meanwhile, I applied for volunteer status at CNIB, and I started helping people with Braille. It was within a year of me going into CNIB, and everybody was happy. And then I did keyboarding skills before the computer. I think I did 1 month, right? 4 weeks, yes. And then I started on the computers. Then we went upstairs. I was promoted from downstairs to upstairs. That's why they have all their gadgets. The guy was up there, the one that used to do the computers. That's where they have all the labs and everything, computers, all their equipment were upstairs. So when you go upstairs, that means you have graduated. So I went upstairs, and he was a student actually, like the other lady that I said, she went back to school, Mary Louise, the lady I said I actually loved her, yes. The one that was doing mobility. She too was a nurse in training, right? Yeah. And this other guy too, he was a paramedic. the one that was doing the computers. It was just a part-time a student worker.
So that means you were there now. You started teaching already, right?
Yes, helping people with Braille.
Okay, so from back home, once a teacher, there's the saying, once a
Always
teacher
a
is always
teacher.
a teacher.
Yes.
So that's how you taught there, and then you came back here, you taught again.
Yes.
So what happened now with the family?
Well, we were trying to find ways. I told you, right? So one day the doctor, not the one that did the surgery, the retina specialist.
Okay.
He called me and he asked me what I was planning to do. He said, yeah, I know you are rehabilitating and all that, but what are your plans? I said, I don't know. I'm just doing rehabilitation now. I can't go back right now because of the war. So, I don't know. And he said, you know what? Come, tell your cousin to come with you. I want to talk to you. And then we went to his office. And then he checked my eyes because I have to be doing that every year. Even now I should, right? But I don't.
Okay.
So he said, there's a lawyer in Ontario that I would like you to talk to. He gave us his name and number on a piece of paper. He said, there are so many people coming here that have been asking for refugee status. They don't even have these kind of challenges that you have. So you go for it. Go and try and see. If nothing happens, you just let me know. So I was so thankful. That's the guy that was asking about Juju.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
okay,
the Arab
okay.
guy.
Did you figure out the Juju stuff?
As a retina specialist. So he said, I will call again to find out, to see how far you've gone. I'll talk to the guy. I think they are related somehow, or probably they were friends or something, right?
Yeah.
So we went home and called, but we did not get him, right? But then, they always have messages that they leave on the voicemail. We say press 1 for reception, press 2 for da-da-da. There was an office where I think they had about 4 or 5 doctors. So one of the options said, if you are applying for refugee status, download the forms, fill them out, and bring them in. The woman said, he said, I never knew, right? He said, okay, you know what? Let me go and get these forms, okay? Downloaded the forms, fill them out, and they took them in. By then, we did not see the guy that we were calling, right? The contact here, not the one in Ontario. There was a contact here before we would have spoken with the lawyer at, what's the law firm? One of the biggest law firms actually in Ontario, yes.
Right.
Yeah. He's a famous guy, was too busy, right? So the guy told us, I don't get this guy. We called too. We said, oh, we are not getting hold of this guy. He said, but you know what? You have the forms, right? Make sure they are filled out properly. I will go in personally and hand it in for you guys. We said, okay. He said, somebody from the refugee board will call you. Just like that. Couple of weeks I was called. He said, oh, we want to talk to Mohammed. Mohammed first side, and then, oh, is your cousin there? He said, oh, yeah, she's here. Can she talk to us? He said, oh, go ahead. She can. Go ahead. I said, oh, this is Denisiah. We talked and said, okay, now we are going to get you set up for an interview. Yeah, so that means I have to go see the refugee board, right? I think it was like 4 weeks. Yeah, 4 weeks after that. But then they told me they were going to open my file in Guinea. Yes, the file that I left in Guinea when I was coming.
Yeah.
Yes, so they want to check the file there and then they will get back to me. It took like a couple of weeks. And they said, we have everything now. We have your file. We just wanted to see everything that was in the file there. We know you came in. for surgery, but because of the
compare
war,
notes and
yes,
stuff. That's right.
because of the war, you cannot go back, or your bad experiences with trauma and all that, which has led to your they don't want to say blindness, no.
Oh, no, they don't want to discourage you. Yeah.
Your visual impairment and all that, right? Yeah. So came in. Well, anyway, the refugee board was hectic, but God willing, I went through that. And then my cousin took me back to CNIB that very day. I finished what I was doing and then went back home. It was so helpful. He said, now when you start walking with your cane, I will not be taking you everywhere. Like, am I going to be able to do this? I said, I don't know. That's not one of my strong points, right?
Okay.
That walking around. You know, I came from Sierra Leone, right? We have crazy roads, crazy drivers. I don't know if I'll get used to that.
Everything crazy.
What I did though, I actually was managing. But I will not use my white cane here in Edmonton. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
People are too crazy here.
That's okay. If you are listening, you are still listening to our inaugural video podcast of Daniel Rousseau's Corner in conjunction with Modern Productions. And we're right here in Edmonton, Alberta, and you're listening to the one and only Mrs. Ali. And she's telling us about her situation from Sierra Leone, where she started having problems with the eye, up to Canada. And now she's still explaining to us. And if you're listening, this will entice you to see a woman of resilience. Una would listen. We sabi Creole. This time Mrs. Denisiah Ali. It explained to we, una de say na woman of many parts. So now Mrs. Ali they tell una how it transition from a teacher na salon, where na they get problem with the eye, take on Canada. And now it tell we how it managed for stay. This is a story of resilience. Now, a woman of many parts. Continue, Mrs. Ali.
The good results came. They said I made it through the refugee interview. So I was supposed to go and get my medicals done. Mohammed said, I will tell you. When I came out of there, I'm like, if I am the one doing this, I will not give myself any good points. He said, don't say that. You are just hard on yourself. You are very good. I'm like, no. You are just saying that to make me feel good. He said, no. You are good. I have something positive here. I can feel it right in my heart. And he was right. I was granted refugee status. I had to do all my papers and medicals. Then I had to get the documents for my family. But by then, nothing was happening with that. I was talking to one of my friends at CNIB. He said, oh, they're not going to do anything for your family until you have your residency. I'm like, are you serious? He said, I'm telling you. I said, don't tell me that. I don't want to hear that. He said, I'm telling you, that's what will happen. And you know what? He was right. He was right. They wanted to know if I can walk, right? Mm-hmm. So I was talking to people at the CNIB. I said, I know Braille. I can read Braille. I can read for people. Anything with Braille will work for me. Braille will work for me. I can cook. I can stand on the stove. I can do everything. People were saying to them, yes, she can. So one day, this guy that does the computers, well, I told you about the student that was helping me out, right?
Yes, you did.
He was just a temporary worker, right? But then there was this other guy, Chris. He was the actual guy, the computer guy. So he started teaching me after the guy left. He went back to school. So he said, you've been running around us for work. Can you go to the casino?
That's talking to you.
Yeah. Can you go to the casino tomorrow at 4:00? We were in class, right? I said, okay. What do you want me to do at the casino? Just go and observe. You say you want to work, right? Go see what you can do.
Whoa.
I was so happy. He said, no, don't be happy yet. I don't want you to go there have problems and then come back because you've been bugging us, right? I'm like, okay, I'm going. So I went to the casino. I took the disability bus and then went to the desk where the lady was. She said, oh, so you're the lady that's looking to work here? I said, hopefully. And then she took me into the court. There was the court check. So she took me into the court room. And then she said, I will be showing you things, but we will be having interruptions from time to time because people will be coming to get their coats. But you know what? It will be good for you because you can see how this is done.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. She said, make yourself comfortable. You can sit. There's coffee at the back. You can stand, whatever you want to do. Just make sure you are paying attention. I'm like, well, yeah, I will. So I stood there. People came for their coats and all that. She started showing me the racks. It was a spiral one. So we had to be going around and around and around. She showed me the Braille numbers. But then I could not read the normal numbers because of...
So it's difficult for you to do.
Well, I mean, they had the large prints too, right? But no, I only had light perception, like I said. So she said, touch the Braille. I touched the Braille. So the quote goes from 1 to 1,099.
Was it that much?
Yes. It was a big quote rack. When they have functions.
That means the place was packed.
Or when they have functions, that's not enough. We had another quote room.
Oh, my God.
They open a second quote room when they have functions there. Yeah. So she showed me that quote room, but we didn't go in. She just said that's a spare quote room just in case, right? We have overflow. So I started helping her out. If I'm closer to the numbers that the people bring, because I was standing on the other side and she was on the other side, like it was a very small desk. We were standing opposite each other. So some of the quotes were on the left and some on the right. So she was on the left and I was on the right side. So if somebody comes and the number happens to fall on the right side, she tells me, go for it. So I was very slow at the beginning.
It was a process, you know?
Yes, and after 4 hours, I just saw myself. She said, you know what? I think you can do this. She said, let me tell you, I never dreamt that you do this. She said, when you came in, I'm like, okay, so here we go again. She said, but I like your attitude. She said, don't worry. You'll not be able to do this as fast as I'm doing it. She said, because one, I have sight, but I do the large print because she too has some problems, right? She said, but I do large prints. She said, but I admire you doing the Braille. She said, you know, when you start working here, she's been positive, right? She said, when you see those guys that do Braille, they are doing it faster than me. That's what she was saying to me. I'm like, she said, Oliver works here. I'm like, what? She called all the guys. I'm like, oh, I know all of these people. Yeah, because we were having meetings at CNIB all the time. Well, I think once a month or so. And then they had sports clubs and I started going in. I didn't join at first. I was just, looking at things and they said, don't worry, you're not in a hurry, just make friends, talk to people. So I was thinking about joining the sports group there, right? So like, oh, they all are in the goalball. Yeah, you want to play goalball? I said, yes. She said, oh, you will love it. She said, goalball is good, right? She said, don't worry, you'll see me around. She too used to play before, but she used to coach some of the girls' teams, right? Yeah, so.
So at this point,
Yes.
Mrs. Ali, you had the inkling, you were like having the feeling that you might just get the job, right?
Yeah, I did. When they went to CNIB with my reports, it was all, I passed with flying colors. Everything was good. All the points that they were looking for, I had, social skills, I had, sense of direction, I did, timing, I did. By 4 hours, I was taking those codes as if I've been working there for for years.
So you met all the criteria. So
Yes, I like your attitude. She said, I like, well, I had no choice. I had to work because they will not be my family. The guy told me, my friend, he said, they are not going to start your paperwork until you have residency. And then you know what he said again? He's an immigrant too. He said, find a job.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did.
So then, in that situation, how long did it take you at that time to get your stay? Your residency, that's what I'm talking about.
It was 7 years.
Okay. So during that 7 years, you were
No, it
able,
was 6. 6.
So during that 6 years, we were
Yes.
able to get the family around, right?
No, it was right. When I got my residence in July, that's when their process started. And then they too got their own in July, the following July.
You mean the
So
family?
it was just 1 year. Yes. He told me, said it's 1 year. They will not do anything now. So I went and told him, I'm like, you're the one that's keeping me in this country. He said, why are you saying that? I'm like, yeah, you predicted and your prediction came true, right? Yeah.
So, Mr. Sally, at this juncture now, we're coming to now you had the good news that your family will be coming over.
Mm-hmm.
How do you felt at that time?
I was so happy. That time, the CNIB, when I used to complain that it's taking too long, they say, oh, the processing. And then they will tell you, oh, because of the war, they cannot send people to go in, right? So they did it through UNHCR. And then when things were okay, that's why it took so long. They had to send it to IOM again. So they started the whole process again. Because they were thinking that the war was, they will not know, right? So they would just do the UNHCR thing and just hope the war is over and then they will go in. But if it doesn't, then with UNHCR, they will just continue, right? That's why they went there in the first place. But then luckily, the war ended, right? So we did not continue with UNHCR. They had to go back to Freetown, to IOM. But it took 1 year. It was fast. Yes.
So then, how many family members were we expecting at the time?
I was expecting my 2 kids and my husband.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. So you guys who are listening, you see, we are rounding up now, but I can tell you, you've been listening to this inaugural video podcast of the Olufus Corner, which is the community virtual platform in collaboration with Medan Productions. And we're talking to Mrs. Ali, who has got to the point where she's receiving the family. And she was all poised, all smiles, that at the end of the day, she'll be receiving the husband with the children. But when they came, the family improved, right?
Well, yes, actually, because it was in August. They had to go to school, right? So it was all running around, trying to get to school, trying to get them to take exams, because they had to actually show that they were ready for the grade that they were supposed to be in, right?
Okay.
Well, it took a while for them to settle down. August is close to winter, right?
Winter, that's right. Just moving into winter. And that would have been their first experience.
They were lucky because Halifax is not as cold as Edmonton.
Cold as Edmonton, okay. So were they happy to sort of transition, sort of the weather?
Not at the beginning,
accustoming to the weather
not
here
at the beginning.
as to compared to back home?
Not at the beginning. They were missing their friends. And my daughter, the older one, Annette,
okay,
whenever she comes home, she would knock at that door. If somebody doesn't open, she say, oh my God, don't put it. She'll come. Oh, my hands.
Oh, hands so cool.
My hands. What am I doing here? I used to laugh at her. She said, you will be telling that to other people. And then, of course, she does that. She's like, oh, me too. When I came, I was so bad. But she was very studious. She liked the school. She liked very ambitious. She liked going to school. She liked learning, So, yeah. And she did very well at school.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
she
then the
came
boy?
in grade. Yeah, the boy too. Yeah, they're smart kids. You know, they have problems with our children in Sierra Leone, right?
No.
Most of them. I always tell the one here, the little one, the one I had here. I tell him, I'm like, you, if you were born in Sierra Leone, you'll not be doing this. You talk to your sister and brother. They know what they're about, but you don't know what you're about. He says, no, Mom, don't say that. I say, oh, no, I'm just joking.
Okay, Mrs. Ali, now that we've heard about your joy of getting the family over, people here will be asking if Mrs. Ali was in a position to talk to people of your same situation, to go through, you are a person of resilience, right? If you are told to advise people with such a, with eye problem, what will you say to them? Those who want to become downcasted, say, oh no, it's not. What will you tell them at this point in time?
Well, actually, you know, I left that out. I was actually volunteering. I think it's after they came that I went into that part of the CNIB, that branch, talking to people losing their sight. Yeah, after the diagnosis, they will match me up with someone my age, mostly women, and then I'll talk to them about my experiences and just try to encourage them, you know. Sometimes some people will call back because they are supposed to call you back and tell you if they are ready to talk. Some people call back, some will not. And there'll be some that you'll be talking to then probably for a few, because we did that twice a week, for a few weeks. And then after that, they would tell you, oh, I cannot go on talking. I'm not as positive as you, you know. I know you came from Africa and everything you are doing here is so good. People at CNIB talk about you. They sing your praises. But you know what? I'm not like you. One time I was offended. I'm like, I'm not going to be doing this anymore. But then Robert told me, go ahead, you are doing a good job. You know, people should be angry, right? They said that there's anger. He said, you remember what happened to you? You cried first. He said, oh, I have no tears to shed, right? You were angry, right? Then after that, you start accepting your situation. So just give them time. But I had few people that were really good that I was able to talk to. And they came back to the CNIB and told them that that lady helped us out. She's so positive. She's a good person. All the good praises for me, right? By then. So that was one thing I did too, right? Volunteering in the Braille. I was doing keyboarding as well with CNIB. And then I did the peer support. That's how we call it. Talking to people that have plans to do surgery, or people whom they've told that there's no way that they could not see anymore. People who are struggling to do things, you know. We just talk to them, right? Talk to them and tell them that things will happen, right? So I would say to people in my situation, be open-minded.
That's right.
Don't say no to anything. Do everything possible. Be hopeful. Be strong. No one will do it for you but yourself. I learned that the hard way.
You guys relocated now to Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
How has it been in Edmonton with the community, everybody? You have sort of imbibed everybody, and people like you because you are such an outgoing person. Your family is good. Now the family has grown. So how do you feel about
I do
all
my
this?
best, right, to help my children because it's so hard. It's so hard here. It's so difficult here. Back home, we used to have people helping. Even if you are living with people, you don't have to be related to them. You just tell them, oh, just look at my kid for me. I'm going to the markets. The person will do the same too, right? So we looked out for each other. We were each other's keepers, right? So I helped them out and they are grateful. And you know what? They are my champions. And you know what? The people tell you, oh, Mom, you can do this. If they tell you that all the time, what do? You don't sit down and fold your arms and fold your feet. If they tell you, Mom, you can do it, that means you have to work harder, right? And you should do more, right? So I thank God I have them. I have my family, I have my grandchildren, and they keep me busy. But I don't give up. I'm still looking at doing more stuff, right? I tried school, it did not work for me because of the technology, right? But you know what? I'll try again.
That's right. Never say never.
If at first you don't succeed.
Try again. So
that's my motto.
So, ladies and gentlemen, having heard all of this that Mrs. Denisiah have said to us, I want to believe it's up to you that this is just the beginning. As I said, you'll be seeing more of Mrs. Ali. She happens to be first person, somebody who opened the doors to this very, very initial or the inaugural video podcast of the Norfolk Corner, which is a community virtual platform in collaboration with Medan's production. This is the first, and she happens to be our first somebody we spoke to, and you heard what she said. She has given us an insight, a total view of her life from back home to here. She has just encouraged us, for you who are in the same situation, be strong and believe that whatever happens for a reason. So now, as we round up now, I want you to give your last word, Mrs. Ali, because we're rounding up. What is your last word to viewers who will be looking at you all around the world? Because it's not going to be only here in Canada. It will be in Sierra Leone, it will be in China, Japan, all over. I trust you. We have the team that will facilitate that, our production team.
Yes. I would say I'm open. If people want to ask me questions about resiliency or the way I've done things so far or the way I'm planning to do things in the future, I'll be available to answer questions. But then I'll still come back because there's more to be said. Thanks for having me.
And to the family, your loving family, what do you say to them?
I'll say, I love you guys. You have been pushing me forward, and because of you, I'm stronger. I love you all. Big hugs to my grandchildren, my loving grandchildren.
That's right. You had it all. You had it all. Mrs. Denisiah, I want to give me a hand. I want to thank you for being our first interview in this program. We shall be having you many more times. This is just the beginning of greater things to come. As we round up now, on behalf of the Norfolk Corner, which is the community virtual platform, and Medan Production, I want to thank my able producer, and of course, my very versatile and dynamic director. I want to thank you guys. This is yours truly, the Norfolk Corner, saying tata.